So what I want to do in this video is just do a little review, and I'm going to do two videos. I'm going to do one with the Criss Cross method that we've seen, and I'm also going to do one with the more traditional method. So we're going to look at this example. So I have 3n squared minus 13n plus 14. Now with our Criss Cross method, what we said was we take the front and the back term, we multiply them together, which is going to give me 42n squared. And we're going to look at the pair of numbers that multiply to 42 but add to negative 13. And we're saying they add to negative 13 because of this positive sign right here. So when I make my list of numbers, and you can write these down or you can do them in your head, these are all the pairs of numbers that multiply to 14. These add to 42, 43, 23, 17, but this is the pair that we want because they add to 13. We want to keep in mind they both have to be negative. So that means we want negative 6 and negative 7 because negative 6 times negative 7 is positive 42 like we wanted, but they also add up to that negative 13 that we talked about up top. So I'm going to bring my 3n squared down. I'm going to bring my 14 down. I'm going to box this off so we don't get confused. I'm going to bring the negative 6n over and the negative 7n over. Reminder, we have to put the n's with that because we're looking for n squared here, 42n squared, so 6n and 7n. Once we're here, as you've noticed, this negative 6n and negative 7n is just this negative 13 split up. Now what we're going to do is we are going to look at 3n squared minus 6n and say, what do they have in common? Well, the 3 and the 6 both have a 3 in common that can be divided out, and they both have the n that can be divided out. Once I do that, 3 divided by 3 is 1. N squared divided by n is just going to leave me with an n right here. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. And n divided by n is going to mean there's no more n here. Now, reminder, this back parentheses we know already has to be n minus 2 because the parentheses have to match because of the way the distribution works. So all you really have to do here is ask yourself, how does of a negative 7n become a positive 1n? Well, negative 7 divided by negative 7 is going to give me that 1. Positive 14 divided by negative 7 is going to give me that negative 2 at the back, minus 2 at the back. And then I just put my terms together, the negative 3, or sorry, the 3n and the negative 7, and then I just rewrite the parentheses. Let's check another example. So our next example is going to be 5m squared plus 3m minus 14. The only difference here is my back term's now negative. So when I put these together, I'm going to get negative 70m squared, which means when I go to make my list, I got to think about one of these being a negative number. Well, if one of these is a negative number, that means I'm thinking more of subtraction in this case. So I'm asking myself, which of these two numbers has a difference, has a subtraction of 3? Well, that means that I want 7 and 10. So again, I bring my lead term down. I bring my back term down. But now I'm going to take this 3 and I have to split it up with that 10 and the 7. One of them is going to have to be positive and one's going to have to be negative. Because I want positive 3, I'm going to make the 10 the positive term. And remember, it doesn't matter if you put the 10m first and the negative 7m second. It doesn't matter. You could do it either way you want to do it. Well, now I'm going to focus on this. I recognize the 5 and the 7 have nothing in common, so I just factor an m out. When I do that, I'm going to end up with 5m minus 7. I know the back parentheses has to match, so my goal is to see if I can make that happen. To turn a 10m into a 5m, I divide by 2. And that's also going to turn a negative 14 into a negative 7. I take the two terms that I factored out, and I take the parentheses, and I'm set. If you have any questions, reach out.